All right, we're on. Okay.
You checked it on your phone now?
Yeah, it's on.
You're not getting. We're getting just jibber jabber audio.
No, I have that off.
Okay. So it's just.
Wait. It's.
What's the audio feed in there?
Which one would be the USB?
Transition to live.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. It's good to have you here. We're going to have a brief security announcement.
Shabbat Shalom. I've just been given the script. For everyone's comfort, please silence your devices, and that will help us all. Normally we're inside, but outside we'll just briefly say that if in an emergency, if we need to leave this area, we will meet in the far corner in the southwest corner of the parking lot to make sure everyone is over there safely. If we, on the most unlikely, if we had to do that, make sure that you can help someone else get there safely. We'd appreciate that. Little emphasis there. And as you know, if we have fire extinguishers just inside the sanctuary and inside the lobby, and there's an AED and a first aid kit in there as well, should those be needed. Shabbat Shalom.
So let's take a deep breath. And we're going to turn to page 24 and begin with Shalom Aleichem.
Sharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ochem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malchei Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seitchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Alachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hashareit, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Verse 3, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch.
Turn back to pages 2 and 3 in our Siddur as we kindle our Shabbat lights. And sorry, I'm trying to hold everything down while I turn pages here. Here we go. Please rise if you can comfortably do so. Top of page 3. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
You may be seated. We turn to pages 20 and 21. Take a moment to reflect on the week that has passed. Pause briefly on its challenges and on the blessings of each day. And then we'll join in singing Lecha Dodi. Review of the week. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, invite you to rise and face the parking lot from which we entered to welcome the Shabbat presence, the Nishama Yetera, the extra soulfulness that travels with us on Shabbat into our kihila, into our community, into our hearts. For those of you at home, invite you to turn towards the doors of your home. Bring in Shabbat. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 Penei Shabbat nehekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 Penei Shabbat nehekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad hishme'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem ultiferet ve'letchila. Yalalai, 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 Penei Shabbat nehekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuven elchad, ki mekor habracha. Meirosh mikeden nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava. We rise. Oi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha ub'tzola toch emunei am segula. Oi chala, oi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 Penei Shabbat nehekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 Penei Shabbat
We continue on page 26. Step up. Chatzi Kaddish.
Yid Kedah, Vid Kedah, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bama Divrach Chirute V'amlich Mahute. Bechai Echon Uvyom Echon. Uchayed Kol Beit Israel. Bagala, Bagala, Ubizman Kariv. V'yimeru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mivarach, Le'olam Ulam Le'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yithalah, Shemei Dekuda Shabarichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birata, B'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Damiran B'yama,
V'yimeru, Amen. Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, is on page 28. Just read.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach, Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praised be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever.
Just take a step.
Lai la la, ya la la la, lai la 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 la, lai la la, ya la la la, lai la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, lai la la la, lai la 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 la. Adonai Amemorah, Yai Lai Lai, Ya La La Lai, Lai La La Lai La La Lai, Baruch Adonai Amemorah, Le'olam Va'ed, Ya La La Lai 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 Lai, La Lai 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 Lai, Lai Lai Lai.
Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30, El Chai V'Kayam.
El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hamariv, Aravi.
Amen. Continue on page 34 and 35 with Shema Yisrael. Can I just read?
Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Machoto Le'olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
May be seated. We continue on page 36 with Ve'ahavta. 1, 2, 3.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
You can go back to your seat, and then you'll come back up for a vote. So we turn now to page 40, our song of freedom, the freedom that once was, the redemption we hope will still be for us and for all peoples and our world. Micha Mocha, page 40.
Just had to make a spur of the moment melody change, only because we unfortunately don't have our percussionist with us. So this is going to work better without percussion.
Betar bakodesh nora tehilot o seifele nora tehilot o seifele balchutecha ra'u vanecha Ayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam Zezeli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed le'olam va'ed mimicha Halim Adonai, Imi Kamocha, Gedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot, O Seifele, Nora Tehilot, O Seifele, O Seifele. כי ודרנה את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
וברוך שמו.
גאל ישראל.
Amen. Page 42. Hashkivenu. We ask that tabernacle, a sukkah of peace, be sheltered over us. That we lay down with a sense of wholeness, rise up with a sense of purpose. And we also know that it's part of our job to help to create that tabernacle, to create that peace in our hearts, in our community, and in our world.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom B'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom B'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlemecha Ushmos Tzedkenu Uvoenu Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlemecha Ushmos Tzedkenu Uvoenu Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom B'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Give thanks for Shabbat, the opportunities it gives us to reflect and to connect and to breathe. Vishamru, page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Beini u'bein bnei Yisrael Oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, asot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, עשו את השבת לדורותם בברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, עשו את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Invite Audrey to come up again and join us. We continue on page 46. Invite everybody who can comfortably do so to please rise.
Okay.
Listen to the guitar though.
Adonai Sefer Tiftach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Amotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Asdei Avot V'Yamaot, U'Mevigula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Ava, Melech Osher U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah.
Page 50.
Atah Gibor L'Olam Adonai, Mechaya Kol Atah, Rav Leoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechaya Chayim Bechesed, Mechaya Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rochech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umechayim Emunato Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevorot, Umito Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ve'naman Atah Lechayot Hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please take a few moments for silent prayer or the words of the prayer book through page 62, 63. When you're through, you may be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. I'll just say a few words before I play. The piece I'm going to be playing is May the Words Yehiyu L'Ratzon by composer Raymond Smolover. He was a very influential cantor, composer, pedagogue, teacher, you name it, he did it. Very all-encompassing Renaissance man of Jewish music. This piece is one of his most famous settings. I particularly like it a lot. I usually reserve it only for the outdoor service because it kind of lends itself because of the keyboard and the different voices. So Raymond Smolover passed away about 10 years ago, so he lived up until recent times. And one thing I did learn in my research, which was really interesting, is that, do you know the name Richard Kiley? Anybody? He was, right. He was a very famous actor, and he sort of made the role of Don Quixote in Man of La Mancha. He was the first to sing The Impossible Dream. That was Raymond Smolover's prize student, is Richard Kiley. So, pretty cool. Anyway, Raymond Smolover, May the Words.
So on Sunday night, I returned from 2 weeks at Camp Newman, and it was a great 2 weeks. I did come home with what they call Camp Crud at the end, so you've gotten to hear me cough tonight. That's the tail end of my Camp Crud, but had a great 2 weeks at camp. One of the meaningful things for me at camp is that there's a mishlachat at camp, which is a delegation of Israelis, right, who come to camp. So 30 Israeli counselors or specialist and their primary job at camp is to just come do their job, right? Be a counselor, be a specialist, do whatever. They do have some opportunities where they can teach about Israel, and we have other people who are coming from other places in the world. We have a counselor from Uganda who talks about the Jewish community in Uganda, and we have counselors from the United Kingdom who talk about the Jewish community there. But the biggest delegation by far, other than American teenagers, is from Israel. And having the opportunity to spend time with them and to talk to them, I think is an important thing, and it's especially at this time. Last year was even more really challenging for them, right earlier in the conflict. I think, like many of us, many of them today are can't believe that it's still going on. Many of them, but not all of them, feel like it should have been over a long time ago, and have been some of the voices to ask for that. And of course, among 30 people, they don't share a single political opinion. They have different perspectives that are there, and yet they also just bring something else. But one of the other things that's really important is that there were a number, almost a dozen, who were returning to camp. It wasn't their first time at camp. It's not easy for them necessarily to come a second summer, right? They're sent the first time usually, right after the army, or because they're in a certain program or whatever, to come by the Jewish agency. And then after that, they sort of have to work on getting an opportunity to do that. And if you ask them why it's important to come, why they come back, they would say that they've never been able to experience Jewish life the way that they're able to experience it here. A liberal, joyful Judaism, and they have opportunities to, we have Israeli staff every summer who read from the Torah for the first time, who never had an opportunity to do that, particularly female Israeli staff who, their bat mitzvah, they had a big party, but they didn't read from Torah because the synagogue that they didn't go to was Orthodox. They as that came out. I think for me, really, human relationships are what have sustained me through this incredibly difficult, painful period. It's been difficult and painful in this post October 7th world, because I mourned with my friends and family in Israel after October 7th. It's been difficult and painful because of so much of the reaction here in the United States and the huge increase in anti-Semitism. And it's been difficult and painful to watch the death and the suffering of people in Gaza. I think in I posted something today, if anybody wants to look at my Facebook page, that I shared from a friend of mine in Israel, Sarah Tuttlesinger, who wrote a book. She spent a year living in different quarters of the old city, trying to make each a home for a piece of the year. She wrote a book called Jerusalem Bound and Quartered, I think is what it was called, Jerusalem Bound and Quartered. It's a great book if you want to learn from a very intimate level about like what makes the city for somebody who lives there, right? For like, you know, what coffee shop she liked in the Muslim Quarter and who her friends became and what those, like a different kind of thing. I went on a tour with her of the old city. She posted along a piece that was really about, you know, what it is to be an Israeli mother, but also to have deep empathy for a mother in Gaza and a child in Gaza and what that must be. And my biggest concern for us as a Jewish community is that we can hold two things simultaneously, right? That we can be connected and supportive and loving of half the Jewish people who live in the land of Israel and share their experience, and also have empathy and compassion and care for those who aren't us. And so often, especially when we feel under attack, and this is where I think the increase in anti-Semitism in the United States has made this harder for American Jews. So often when we feel under attack, we just put up the walls, and any criticism, you know, we just say, we can't hear it, right? Whatever that is. But I have to remind myself, right? I get people occasionally when I say things and, you know, they tell me, Rabbi, you're soft, you're, you know, whatever. The Middle East isn't a soft place. So, you know, you're gonna get, we can't be soft. But I also, you know, I carry the books of our tradition with me. I'm reminded that we're not supposed to celebrate even the death of our enemies. The famous Midrash when the Egyptians drowning in the sea and God chastises them and says, my children are drowning and you dare sing songs. And I understand when we express sympathy for the other who we are in conflict with quite often. For some, it feels like it gives comfort and support to those who would like to destroy us. And I feel that anger and frustration because the world sometimes does behave that way. Israel is often unfairly criticized, and the anger expressed is in me as well. But I'm challenged, right? I'm challenged by those other voices of our tradition. At the Passover Seder, when we remove that drop of wine from the cup for each plague, in empathy and sorrow and tragedy of the Egyptians. And we can't cast away our values and our ethics and our compassion and our justice when they challenge us, when they're not convenient. There are radical words in the book of Proverbs. If your enemy falls, do not exult. If he trips, let your heart not rejoice, lest the Eternal see it and be displeased. And then it continues what feels especially poignant in the last, over a long time, but especially the last couple of weeks. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. The images coming out of Gaza today shake me to my core. And while there are many, and we're not going to debate that today, many of causes of that hunger, foremost Hamas and the UN and other kinds of things, as David Horowitz, the founder and editor of the Times of Israel, wrote today or yesterday, I don't know, I read it today, but it could have been yesterday that he wrote it. You know, he wrote Israel's now the controlling authority in Gaza, and then so has a responsibility, no matter who's getting in the way, of making sure that people can get food and securing routes for the safe delivery of food, which is one of the great challenges right now. There's actually food in Gaza, but it can't be delivered because they don't feel, the UN agencies and others don't feel they can safely deliver the food. And so it's the trucks are sitting right? But the only people who can secure those routes is Israel. And I think in the last week or two they'd been hoping that they would come to a ceasefire agreement, and that would give them the opportunity to rush food in. Now that it looks like that's falling apart, there's got to be a way, got to find a way to get food to people, right? It's a terrible, terrible situation. So I'm reminded when I'm feeling full of despair, excuse me, full of despair, that when our prophets are talking about these ages of hope, they're usually talking at times of despair, right? They're prophesizing a future that looks different than the day that they're living in. And the reason they're prophesizing is because they think things are pretty bad in the days that they live. I take the vision of Isaiah, that we will one day be able to break the sword into plowshares and the iron spears into pruning hooks, because today's enemies will not be enemies forever. The geniuses of Avot de Rabbi Natan, who wrote, Ezehu Gibor, who is strong, who is a hero? One who makes an enemy out of a friend. And while that feels so far and so distant from where we are in our world right now, I think it's always important for us to hold as a vision, because we'll never move toward a vision if we don't have one. A vision that there will be thriving and peace and prosperity for all the peoples who live together in that region. May it be so, and may we work to help make it so. Shabbat Shalom. I lost the order. I should know what's next, but thanks. We are going to continue with Misha Berach, page 253. Tuning.
Weather was a little this affected my tuning.
Oh, Holy One, who blessed our mothers, who blessed our fathers from ancient days, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. Akadosh Baruch Hu, Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem, Lehachzikam U'lerapeotam, Ve'yishlach lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, V'tok Sha'ar Cholei Yisrael. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
We ask for blessings upon Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Tobak, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Cherita Rezade, Gloria Foster, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Found Gerard, Jan Marcus, Al Shapiro, Robert Waldman, Udique Gratz DeLang, Deborah DeLang, Faye Bernstein, Sandra Dizengoff, Karen Nelson, Larry Gassner, Marsha Lloyd, Fred Rosenblum, Sharon Everett, Mark Kramer, Stacy Martin, Anthony Juarez, Ellen Sopkin, Tim Nelson, Susan Smalls, Natalie Cruz, Joanne Cohen, Thad Nagy, Evan Olson, Keaton Height, Michael Gerard, Chastity Smith, Jessica Kubel, Audrey Kellner, Jocelyn Tucson, Marion Snyders, Bonnie Stead, Joel Solorozano, and Jennifer Lewis. If you're thinking of somebody and would like to add their name to our list, please do so as I come by your row.
Jonathan Grand.
Kadosh Baruch Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
Invite Neil Gerard back up to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of your Board of Trustees, I bring you Shabbat greetings. We're glad that you're here tonight joining us on this lovely but breezy evening, or if you're at home, enjoying us online. Thanks to Rabbi and Cantor. It's nice to have you both back together with us. Thanks to Randy also for, as always, his special music, and to Joaquim for keeping us online and keeping us connected with our community. And also thanks to Audrey for being our teacher this evening. I'd like to thank our greeters tonight, all outside greeters, were Joan Gerard, Judy Rose, and Esther Vogel. After tonight's service, we will go back inside to the social hall for Kiddush Motzi refreshments. It's a good opportunity to say hello to someone new, someone you don't know, or to greet an old friend. Not a lot to announce tonight, but I will say that you can follow us in our weekly Tekiah or our monthly Kehila as they come out for updates. And for those who are members, if you have not returned your pledge, please do so. We're looking for pledges to be returned, and registrations for our Beit Sefer program. Shabbat Shalom.
So Rabbi mentioned those times in our history when things were bleak and dire and just sad and depressing. And as the wisdom or tradition shows, when we recall those things, it's too much if we separate them into individual observances. So our tradition has created something called Tisha B'Av, the 9th of the month, the Hebrew month of Av, to kind of compact all of that misery and to create an opportunity to work towards hope, which I think is really the purpose of Tisha B'Av, because that begins the 7 weeks of consolation that lead us to the joy of our high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So that night is 1 week from tomorrow evening, Erev Tisha B'Av, and we'll be gathering online on a Zoom link that I believe was published in the Tekiah today, and encourage those of you who want to do some studying of the Book of Lamentations to kind of reflect on those tragic times, exactly what Rabbi talked about, and create an opportunity to go from there to go forward with hope and a renewed vision of a much better time. To please join us. We'll begin at 7 p.m. We'll do some Havdalah online and then move into some study of the book of Eicha, the book of Lamentations, and because we're on Zoom, there will be opportunities for some back and forth and some participation. So please check that out 1 week from tonight. Thank you.
And tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., I lead Torah study. It's also online. It's on Zoom. The link is in your Tekiah. We do have, in addition, this week is a special Haftarah, the second of a special Haftarah.
It's Rosh Chodesh. Tomorrow.
Yeah. No, but it's also the second week of rebuke.
Yes, it's a.
Yes, we're talking about what's going on. It's the so we have there are 3 weeks, as Cantor Paul said. There are 7 weeks of consolation leading out of Tisha B'Av. There are three weeks of rebuke leading into Tisha B'Av, where what we're reading is stuff from the prophets that say you guys are really terrible, and so there's some readings from Jeremiah this week that are there, as well as our Torah portion Matot Maseh, which, because I took a different tack tonight, I didn't talk about. So if you want to hear about Matot Maseh and Ruvain and God wanting to stay outside the land and different kinds of things as they're getting ready to conquer the land, then join me at 9:30 on Zoom. We have a nice group, and it's always lovely conversation. So,
Link is in the Tekiah.
And the link is in your update. All right. We now turn to page 282 for Aleinu L'Shabeach. I invite those who can comfortably do so to rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עצרנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני
be seated. Page 294. We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. We remember the recent deaths of Andy Wolincevich, family of the Blitz family, of Rita Gordon, aunt of Linda Feynman. Remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Meyer Asher, Maury Baker, Sheila Kaloff, Harry Dizengoff, Mildred Gozansky, Robert Gross, Esther Grossman, Judith Handelsman, Etta Jones, Martin Krentzman, Jean Levin, David John Myque, Sarah Nathan, Leon Salter, Bella Schulman, Shirley Singer, Naomi Sugar, Marion Vihon, and Nathan Zuckerman. If you're remembering somebody on the Shabbat and would like to add their name to those I've mentioned or restate a name I've mentioned, please feel free to do so as I come by your row.
Cantor Benny Meissner.
If you're in a time of mourning or observing a Yortzeit on the Shabbat, I invite you to rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise in embrace and support of those who mourn. Kaddish 294. Yitgadal of Yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, B'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olomei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei d'kudusha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechamata, Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. And we'll close with Biyado. For those who need the words or want the words, they're 321, the last stanza on the page.
Beyado av kibruchi, Beitishan ve'yahiram, Ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo iram, Ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li velo iram.
My soul I give to you.
My soul I give to you.
My spirit in your care.
My spirit in your hand.
Draw me now, I cannot fear.
Draw me near, I shall not
Hold me in your hand.
hold me in your hand.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Draw me near, I shall not
Safely in your hands.
safely in your hand.
My soul I give to you. My
Beyado av kidduchi.
My spirit in your care. ruchi be'ado afkid ruchi beit ishan ve'ayira beit ishan ve'ayira ve'im ruchi geviati ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai li v'lo ira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. For those who joined us online, thank you for being with us. Shabbat Shalom. For all of you here, for those who feel like you have a little koach and you don't have a bad back, you have a little strength, if you can help us put chairs in stacks, that would be helpful. And we're going to move inside. Take your prayer books, please, back to the cart over there, and we're going to move inside for Kiddush Motzi and refreshments.
And you can join us for Kiddush and Motzi and then come back and help with the chairs. So thank you all, and thank you to Marcus and to Randy, and Shabbat Shalom. Chodesh Tov.